I want to start by saying I'm not someone who believes in this stuff. Like, genuinely. I'm the person at the party who rolls their eyes when someone brings up ghost stories. I believe in sleep deprivation, confirmation bias, and the way a tired brain can turn a coat rack into a person standing in the corner of your room. I believe in mundane explanations for weird things. I'm telling you that up front because what I'm about to describe, I need you to understand I spent weeks trying to find the mundane explanation. I really did. And I'm still not sure I haven't found it. But there's one part I can't explain away. Just the one. And it's the part that keeps me from sleeping past 3 in the morning now, even 8 months later. So, here's what happened. I was going through a pretty unremarkable rough patch last February. Nothing dramatic, just the low-grade misery of a bad winter. My roommate had moved out in January to move in with her boyfriend, and I had decided to keep the apartment alone rather than find someone new. It was more money than I should have been spending, but I liked the quiet. I work from home, I'm introverted, the whole thing. I thought it'd be good for me. It mostly was. But February in the Midwest is its own specific kind of loneliness, you know? Dark by 4:30, cold enough that you don't really want to go outside, and I'd fallen into this pattern of just staying up too late, watching stuff, scrolling, doing the thing where you're not tired enough to sleep but too tired to do anything useful. I was usually up until 2, sometimes 3. My sleep schedule was basically held together with spite and cold brew. The night it started, I was doing exactly that. It was a Wednesday. I only remember because I'd been putting off a work deadline, and I remember thinking I'd deal with it Thursday. I was on the couch with my laptop, half watching something on Netflix, half reading through old Reddit threads. Nothing scary. I actually think I was in a cooking subreddit. Completely normal night. I fell asleep on the couch around 2-something, left the TV on, which I did sometimes. And then I was awake. Not gradually, not groggily, just suddenly, completely awake, the way you sometimes get when a sound pulls you out of sleep. I sat up. The TV was still on, some late-night infomercial. The apartment was cold because I'd turned the heat down before I sat down and never turned it back up. I didn't know what had woken me at first. I just sat there for a second, kind of recalibrating. And then I heard it. 3 knocks, slow, deliberate, coming from my front door. Now, I want to be clear about something. In the moment, my first reaction wasn't annoyance. My first reaction was annoyance. Who knocks on someone's door in the middle of the night? I assumed it was a neighbor, maybe someone who'd locked themselves out of the building, maybe drunk, maybe confused. I lived in a 4-unit building, and the woman in 2B had a rotation of friends who didn't always have their heads together. I looked at my phone to check the time before I got up, because that's what you do, force of habit. 3:47 a.m. I remember looking at it and thinking, that's a weird time. Not 3 a.m., not 4, 3:47, specific. I got up, went to the door. I didn't open it. I'm not completely reckless, but I looked through the peephole. Nobody there. I stood at the door for probably 30 seconds, listening. Nothing. No footsteps, no voices, no sound of a door opening or closing nearby. Just the building settling and the infomercial behind me. I told myself it was a dream, or a neighbor leaving, or honestly, it could have been a pipe. Old buildings do weird stuff. I went to bed. That was it. Nothing happened. Until exactly a week later. Same thing. I was in bed this time, actually asleep, and I came awake fast, completely alert, heart already going. I don't know if some part of me had been waiting for it. 3 knocks. I grabbed my phone off the nightstand. 3:47. I lay there, and I didn't move. I want to be honest about that. I was scared enough that I didn't want to get up. There's something about the second time. The first time is coincidence. The second time is a pattern, and your body knows it before your brain catches up. I pulled up my camera app and switched it to the front-facing camera for no reason I can really explain, like I thought I'd see something behind me. I didn't. I did not go to the door that night.
In the morning, in daylight, drinking coffee, I thought about it more clearly. A week apart, same time, 3:47 both times. I'd read enough of those "Is my house haunted" threads to know I was probably being an idiot, but I also started to actually think it through. Could someone be doing this on purpose? Like, could this be someone messing with me? An ex? A weird neighbor? Someone with a grudge I didn't know about? I didn't have an ex who'd do something like this. I didn't think I had enemies, but who really knows? I mentioned it to my friend Danny over text, kind of joking about it, and he said, "Set up your phone to record the hallway," which was actually a good idea. So I did. I propped my phone up against a stack of books on my entry table, pointed at the door, set it to record, and left it running that night. I didn't expect anything. I figured the whole thing would just not happen the way weird things stop happening once you start paying attention to them. At 3:47 a.m., there were 3 knocks on my door. I heard them from my bedroom. I lay completely still. My heart was going so hard that I could feel it in my throat. After about 5 minutes, I got up and went and grabbed my phone. I opened the video. The knocks happened at exactly the timestamp I expected. 3 knocks, clear as anything, coming from the door. And then I watched the door, and I watched, and nothing. There was nobody there. The hallway outside my door was empty. The camera angle wasn't perfect. It caught most of the door and a slice of the hallway through the gap at the bottom, but there was nobody there. No shadow, no movement. But here's the thing. The knocks were loud enough that they should have come from someone's knuckles making contact with the door. But when I watched the video, when I really watched it, the door didn't move at all. I mean, you knock on a door, it vibrates a little bit, even a heavy door. You can see it. I've knocked on my own door from the outside, testing things since, and you can always see it. The door didn't move. I watched it 4 times. 5. I sent it to Danny, and he watched it and got quiet and said, "That's weird," and then changed the subject, and I could tell he didn't want to talk about it. I started looking into it. I know, exactly what you're not supposed to do. But I needed an explanation, any explanation. I Googled 3 knocks and got a lot of religious stuff. There's this idea in some traditions that 3 knocks are demonic, like a mockery of the Trinity. I'm not religious, but it was interesting in a kind of way. I dug into the 3:47 thing specifically and didn't find much. It's not like 3 a.m., which has all this lore around it. 3:47 was just a time. Then I found a thread. It was old, like 2019, on a forum I'd never heard of, not even read it. Someone describing the same thing. 3 knocks, 3:47 a.m., every week. They'd moved apartments and it followed them. They'd tried to stay awake and catch it, and couldn't. They kept falling asleep and waking up right as the knocks ended. The thread had 8 replies and then just stopped. The account that posted it was deleted. I want to say I found this comforting, like, oh, it's a known thing, there's an explanation. It was not comforting. It was the opposite of comforting. I tried to find more. I couldn't. The 4th week, I decided I was going to open the door. I know. But here's my logic. 4 weeks of this and nothing bad had happened. Whatever this was, it hadn't hurt me. And I was starting to feel like the not knowing was going to lose my mind. At least if I opened it and saw something, I'd have information. So I set up the phone again. I sat in the chair in my entryway facing the door from about midnight on. I had coffee. I was going to be awake this time. I was not awake at 3:47. I have no memory of falling asleep. I was awake, and then I was waking up in the chair to the sound of 3 knocks and my phone showing 3:47, and there was someone right there on the other side of the door. I could see the shadow at the bottom. I couldn't. Whatever I'd told myself about wanting information, about being rational, about facing it, my body just completely refused. I sat there, gripping the arms of the chair, watching the shadow for probably 3 minutes. Then, it was gone. I don't mean the shadow moved like someone walked away. I mean, it was there, and then it wasn't, like a light turning off. I turned on every light in my apartment. I sat on the couch until 6 in the morning when it started getting light outside. I didn't sleep.
That was the last time the knocks came. Week 4. I don't know if it was because I came close to opening the door and scared it off, or I don't know. I don't have an explanation. It just stopped. I've thought about it almost every day since. I think about the video and the door that didn't move. I think about that thread I found, the deleted account. I think about how I fell asleep even though I was trying so hard to stay awake. Mostly, I think about that shadow. Because here's the thing I haven't been able to let go of. When I looked at the video from that night, the 4th night, the night I was sitting in the chair, I watched the whole thing, 4 hours of footage from midnight to just after 4. And at 3:47, there are 3 knocks. The door doesn't move, and there's a shadow at the bottom. But at 3:46, a full minute before, the shadow was already there. It was already standing there, just waiting, for a whole minute in silence before it knocked. And whatever it was, whatever was on the other side of that door, it knocked 3 times and it waited. And when I didn't answer, it left. I think about what would have happened if I'd opened it. I think about that a lot. I moved out in April. Different city, actually, not just a different apartment. I'd been thinking about it already, and this was the push I needed. The knocks didn't follow me. It's been 8 months, and I've been fine. But I'm telling you this because I genuinely don't know what that thing wanted. I don't know if it was looking for me specifically or if it just needed someone to open a door. I don't know if it's still at that apartment knocking on whoever moved in after me. What I know is this. If you are ever lying in bed and something wakes you up and you look at your phone and it says 3:47, don't get up. Don't go to the door. Don't try to record it. Don't try to rationalize it. Don't try to be brave. Just lie still and breathe and wait for it to leave. Whatever's on the other side of that door has been waiting at least a minute before it knocks. It knows you're in there. It's hoping you'll answer. Don't.